Greetings, and welcome to another video of Cril Inspires. My name is Cril, author, host, podcast expert, interview podcast expert, master hip hop interviewer. And I'm excited to be back for another video. If you guys have been catching some of my most recent videos, you see that I'm on a sort of a rhythm in putting out videos consistently. So I'm hoping to keep that momentum continuing. All right. So the topic I want to talk about today is refining to a niche podcast and the importance of going niche. Okay. So let me just say that this is a bonus guide that I share in my book, Creating a Successful Interview Podcast. It actually comes right after guide 4, Landing Future Guests. Let me start by focusing on the word niche, right? So niche just simply means that you are focusing on a topic that is for a specific demographic, right? It's actually a specific topic for a specific demographic or a specific group of people. Okay. So let's say that your podcast was about the sport soccer, right? Now, if you just did a podcast and you interviewed anybody that dealt with soccer, whether it was players, coaches, whoever knew anything about soccer, and you didn't really have a topic or a theme about soccer that you wanted to hone in on specifically, then that would not be a niched podcast, right? That would just be a that would just be a podcast that's about soccer in general. Now, a niche podcast is if you decide, okay, my genre that my podcast show is represented in is in the sport of soccer. However, I want to go a little bit more deeper and talk about something specific that is still related to soccer. That is moving in a niche direction. Now, what's an example of that using soccer as an example? Let's say you wanted your show to be about the soccer players, the soccer coaches, the training staff, and everybody else involved in helping these soccer players to be their best before they get on the field and play. Then your focus could be about their experience and their preparation prior to getting on that field. So you may want to focus on still interviewing coaches, maybe still players, but all the other people that are actively involved in preparing for these athletes to get on that field and be their professional selves before the game starts. Okay. As a result, you could name the podcast something like Off the Field. And what that title does now is it says to the potential listener of the podcast clearly that they're going to get information and insight and experiences and stories about what happens off the field for these soccer players, right? So that would be an example of a niche podcast. Why is a niche podcast important and beneficial for your success in interview podcasts? Well, for one, there are a number of podcasts being created daily. So you are in full competition with a number of other podcasts that may also just simply be within the same genre. So if your genre is soccer, there's probably a number of podcasts that deal with the topic of soccer. But you don't even have to deal with that. Whatever your genre is, there's probably a number of podcasts that are dealing with that genre. So how do you stand out from those other podcasts that are in that genre? You have to create something that's niched, something that speaks uniquely to a specific topic for a specific demographic. All right. The other thing a niche podcast is beneficial for is for the purpose of you getting more guests, right? So if you start out with a podcast that's generic, what you may end up doing is trying to focus on getting this person, this person, this person, and all different types of people that just simply relate to soccer. But if you spoke, if your podcast wasn't even about the soccer players, right? And it was just only about the staff that prepares these players, right? You have a better chance of getting interviews with the staff because they're not quote unquote celebrities, right? The players are going to be more so the celebrities, right? But if you focused on the staff and the majority of your interviews was dealing with the staff, you'll have a better chance of getting and achieving those interviews because they're not as sought after, as the celebrities. And as I speak about in my book, what tends to happen when you go for the big names and the celebrity names, you have a hard time getting them, not only because you're competing with so much people who've started podcasts and it's becoming increasingly difficult to get these celebrities' attention, but it's also because they just don't have the time to do every podcast that exists right there, right? Because so many people are reaching out to them to request interviews with them. All right. But the people who are not so famous, the less the likelihood people are reaching out to them, right? And the more likely they may want to tell their story because they haven't gotten a chance to talk about what it is they do and the value in what it is they do. All right. So those are two reasons why you want to go niche. And niche just provides an opportunity for you to, I personally believe, for you to become successful even faster, right? If you're doing what everybody else is doing and you don't have a specific lane that speaks specifically to a targeted group of people or a targeted group of interests, then you're gonna be lost in the shuffle, right? People are gonna miss your show because it doesn't stand out. Okay. So when you are thinking of creating your interview podcast show, consider really honing in to what you're most passionate about. Okay. Like, for instance, me, I do out the box talks. And over the years, I have honed in the show to focus on a specific type of artist, right? I focus mainly on the creative and the conscious hip hop artists, right? So it's something that I'm passionate about, but it's all I've been able to also make it niche. And I know that it's for a specific group of people. So I try to market specifically to that group of people, and because I know they're the ones that's going to appreciate my style of show the most. Okay. So there's a number of reasons why going niche is so beneficial. It's one, it's your passion to the most honed in perspective. Two, it's the ability to get more guests because there's a likelihood that your niche show doesn't focus on a bunch of celebrities. And then also the idea that when you go niche, you stand out. Your show stands out amongst the other shows in your genre that choose to speak about most people speak about, right? Or choose topics that are so generic to the genre. So I just wanted to mention that today. I thank you all for tuning into the video. Check me on the channel for new videos regularly. You can subscribe to the channel if you have not yet and you like what you see. Please feel encouraged to share the video as well if you feel like someone else can benefit from this. As I said in my earlier video, I am now available for consultations. I am doing coaching for those who are stuck, those who are very, very serious about wanting to create a successful interview podcast, but you keep running into roadblocks and you keep putting off starting your podcast because you're not sure about certain things. Please, please, if you are someone that is at that place and you need support in helping you to get to your desired level of success for your interview podcast, please don't hesitate to reach out. I have my booking link in the description of the video, but you can also send a message to me. You can DM me or you can email me at my email address, which I'll put in the link to the description of this video. So, till next video, I want to thank y'all for tuning in with me and continue to push on in your podcast goals. You can do this. I believe you can do this and I can support you if you need help. All right. But I hope that you found some type of value in watching these videos. I'm definitely sharing a lot more than what I shared in my book, even though the book is a strong foundation that you can use as a guide, as a text based guide. But here with these videos, I'm going to be elaborating more and sharing even more. All right. So my book again is titled Creating a Successful Interview Podcast. There's a link to it. The ebook is available on Amazon, and there's a link to it in the description as well. Till next video, I just want to say thank you. Y'all have a wonderful day. Take it easy. Later.